G'day everybody, this is Johnny Seville with your executive summary for stock setups for excuse me, for the Wednesday. Let's take a quick look here. Obviously the S&P 500 is continuing to move, just holding these kind of resistance areas. Now again, we seem to at this point have broken through some likely resistance. Now let's just have a look at kind of some of the possibilities here. This is again, if you remember the original um, potential setup was looking at a head and shoulders. Now the with a steeper head and shoulders, as you can see here, if we connect through these lows and account for the recent price action, this could be one area that we are possibly in. Right now, one potential pattern is still a head and shoulders, as I talked about in the smart money lesson last week. As you can see here, we're just kind of bouncing up into this right shoulder area. I think this right shoulder area, and you can see we're just kind of holding underneath this right shoulder line, and with the moving averages pushing up from underneath. So that's one thing to be considerate of. The other potential pattern is we continue to push higher, and then we would be looking at a higher target from where we're currently at, which would push us up into, let's just remove these lines. Okay. All right, again, connecting these two bottom lows, looking at where our reversal points are, and this would lead us to an upward channel, with an upward channel having a target of anywhere from this 3070 area, depending on when we hit that. But basically, this line would be an important next test. So as you can see, it really depends on when we would get up there. But you can see we're coming into that resistance around 3065, or as high as 3070, possibly even 3080, depending on how slowly or how quickly we get up to those levels. But basically, the overall sign here is that the S&P 500 is entering into resistance territory. So again, either we're at it right now in the case of a head and shoulders, or we are able to push higher into 3060, 3070 areas if we form more of a channel. Obviously, the key thing is to monitor this as it progresses. Now, the high yield bonds, as you can see, high yield bonds are sitting on top of support. So currently, the high yield bonds are still acting bullishly. So that's favourable for the bullish move for the time being. But we'll see how far they can get. Again, hammer candle in yesterday's price action, but with weakening volume. So we're starting to see, obviously, we are starting to enter those dangerous territories again. If we also then look at stocks above or below their 50-day moving average, you can see that we are at 67% right now. Now, remember that the key level of where we get on high alert is whenever the stocks above or below the 50-day moving average reach 70% or above. So we're very close to that territory, and we're just pushing into that right now. We're less than 3 points away from that. So the stocks above or below the 50-day moving average are entering into warning sign signals as well. So I mean, so you've got weakening volume on high yield bonds, but still bullish. You've got very close to sell to warning territory on stocks above or below the 50-day moving average, but still currently bullish. And you've got the S&P 500 either in a head and shoulders pattern or possibly about to potentially form an upward channel, which in both cases those are bearish for now. So the overall feeling on everything we're looking at there in the market is that we're certainly going into warning territory, where we start to get less aggressive, start to certainly make sure we've protected profits that have been made, and there's been a lot of them, and start preparing for what the next move could be. Now remember that open range finishes tomorrow, which is Thursday. So that bullish open range we had on the S&P 500, which told us to go long, and is so far very successful. That dictated that we were going to close above 28.90. kind of within this range of these two green bands, 28.90 to 29.14, or higher. So we've certainly closed higher than this open range, and we're continuing to push. So that's going to be obviously very likely a winning, again, another winning open range. Then that resets on Friday, and we'll be waiting for Monday or Tuesday of next week to see whether that goes bullishly or bearishly to set the tone for the remainder of the month. So there's not a lot of point in being too aggressive this week, considering we are so close to getting a new signal. So if we then go into our individual stocks, I've got quite a few little updates here for you. Again, we've got a bunch of stocks that have done really, really well. BIOS, the first one, is still trying to push higher, but as you'll see with a lot of stocks, they're kind of in there. That a lot of these have hit their targets. BIOS is trying to break further, so we'll see if it continues to hold. It's just currently sitting at support. SUM. This has been a beautiful play. It's just continued to rally and rally and rally since we alerted it back in July. It's pushed up from $18 now to 22, almost 23. So nice tight stop loss here, protecting all that profit that you may have made. And so what we'd be looking for here is a strong close above 23.19, which would signal the next leg of the rally. And then again, continuing just to update the stop loss to allow momentum to continue taking it up and until it eventually pulls back and hits the stop loss, whether that's now, whether it's at $25 or $26, just let it continue to move until it eventually stops out. MFG. MFG obviously had a nice move. It's still not near its targets of 327 or 343, but has had a nice move so far. So I can update the stop signal to 306 to protect the profit already made there. BITA, obviously monster move. It hit its first target of 13.83 easily, smashed straight through that up to $15. So beautiful, quick turnaround for profit on here. So I would consider updating the stop loss now to 14.26 again to lock in that profit which is above that first target. The next target now would be 16.83. So we'll raise that up. There we go, 1683. Okay. Actually, I'm not sure why that's not quite cooperating. Oh, that'll do. Close enough. 1683. BLMN. BLMN has had again a beautiful rally, hit its first target of 1983 with ease, shot straight up from our entry signal, booking some beautiful quick turnaround profits there, and again it's rallied even further now up to 2081. So this is something where I would be wanting to protect that profit. I've already taken some profit at that $20 area, so I would raise the stop now to 1987 to protect the rest of the move, which is above that first profit target. Next target is 2143. Again, you can see it's starting to lose some steam. If you look at this stock, it does tend to reverse quickly, so that's why we want to take. Well, I'm taking profit on the way up and just continuing to protect those moves. We're going to have some resistance here at 2111, so it may reverse from there. So if you're sheepish about that, you could always get out here. LCI. LCI has been a monster mover as well, straight up from that 1050 range all the way up to a high of 1540, just over a 50% move in just a few days. Really, really great. So obviously hit its first target very easily at $12.43. So I would consider moving the stop loss at 12.43. And 1243, and that would give us a nice protection of a juicy profit of 25% roughly that's already been made. The next target I'd look at is 1693 if it's able to continue to power up. Again, if you hadn't taken profit on that, you could certainly do so here, up about 37%. Again, you can see there's been a lot of really, really good moves. There's no way you should be turning this month into a losing month if you're protecting profits like this. Again, don't expect to sell every position at the top. That's why we have first targets, and the idea is to let it move beyond that first target, lock the profit in at the first target, so you're getting the best of both worlds. Rather than selling it all at the first target, you're getting the opportunity to make more and protecting where you would have sold if you had have gotten out, so that you kind of get you're playing with the house's money at that point. So it's again, don't get greedy, because again, by doing that, it could also just keep running and running and running, and let the stock, especially in momentum setups, determine where we're going to get out by allowing them to juice as much profit as possible. So that's LCI. Next target 16.93. Okay, we have BGG. BGG, of course, a beautiful move as well. Just had again, that was back, what was the entry signal here? BGG was around $5.20. Around $5.20. So obviously that rocketed straight up. It came to almost 673 yesterday with our first 2 days ago, sorry, with our which is our first target. So I would say this is close enough to take some profit off the table. Again, it's a beautiful move. We've got market heading into resistance, so clinch some profits, and then again, we've got our stop loss in there, protecting the rest of it. They're at 565 at the moment, and we could even look at raising that a little bit up to 583, just to protect even more, which is well over a 10% profit, which is, if you take some here around 650 and and you were to exit the rest at 583, I mean, again, you're still locking in a close to 20+% profit from roughly $5 to 650. That's 30%. So if we stopped out at 580, locking in 15%, we sold the other half at 650, locking in 30%. You're looking at a blended 22.5% profit, roughly over the two triggers, and that's if it doesn't go any further. VUSI, beautiful move as well. Excellent. This is a more advanced kind of fallen angel, obviously, where we got into this one. Had a wonderful run up, triggering our first target at 258. It was just excellent move, very, very fast, as you can see with VUSI, went straight up. Luckily, I mean, my target was triggered, and I ended up getting filled at 286 because it just went straight up, and my order went in to sell, and automatically. I wasn't anywhere near the computer, and as it sold at around 283. So that's the beautiful thing about set and forget. We got it gifted with an extra 10% of profit. 283, 284, and 286. I think I was filled at in different chunks, and then it came straight back down. So again, VUSI, beautiful move, big profit taking opportunity. Again, would update the stop signal here to 228 to protect the remaining move. Or you could go even tighter than that, but that's the conservative look. MMLP obviously is doing excellent, playing off the energy spike. It's the beautiful thing. We found lots of energy stocks that were looking perfect last week ahead of the drone attacks, and there you go. Then and there's the news that the stocks are waiting for. That's the beautiful thing about technicals is, I mean, how can you predict news like that? But amazingly, the charts were all shaping up for exceptional bull moves, and then the news came in early this week to justify it. And that's the beautiful thing about technicals is it's amazing how right when the technicals say something should happen, amazingly, coincidentally, news happens to justify it days later. So MMLP almost at the second profit target here of 517, which is a great 25% profit. However, because that moving averages are dropping here, I would consider a good place to consider taking some profit early at this price. And then again, continuing on from here, we would be looking at momentum. So up to 593 to 653 would be the next profit range. We've got Boeing. BA. Boeing has been under a nice, beautiful move. Those calls are up nicely, getting close to that target of 396. So I'd move the stop up now to 373.43. Obviously, we sold a third of our options last week as it rallied hard. It's now trying to break out again. HOME. This one hit its first target just the other day. And of course, that represented over a 70% profit on the options. Yahoo! So I would consider obviously taking some profit there. But it looks like it's trying to go again. But obviously, that first target, the easy target's been hit. So it's certainly worth taking, for example, your original capital, putting it back in your pocket, or at least maybe that 70% that you've made on the options if you're in that trade. And we've got BW. BW, incredible move as well, hitting its first target on Monday, which was $4.93. Terrific rally. Again, another kind of momentum setup from one of our advanced trading strategies. BW, I would update the stop loss here to 443. We've had PETS, PETS. This one hit its target on Monday. Again, excellent move. This is a downward channel breakout, hitting its target. Look at that. Not close to, but exactly. Went straight up and hit its target right there. So a beautiful, profitable move on either the stock or the options, rallying from $16 and change up to $19. Again, the power of patterns and probabilities. You can see in all of these scenarios that how these targets have been hit bang on, and to be able to trade with confidence like that, it comes back to the rules of what the patterns and probabilities tell us. And of course, this is where we've got that's why we teach patterns and probabilities, because it's just such a critical part of trading. And when you combine that with what you've all learned, or some of you are still learning in the Smart Money course, it's just a really, really powerful 1-2 punch. And you can see the results here are proving that. GASL, of course, another great example of that. GASL rallying up from that $9.70 range all the way up to hitting our second target on Monday of 14.43. Yahoo! Nothing wrong with 40+% in a week or so. GASL. Again, the power of patterns and probabilities. It's awesome. I love it. And all of this, again, the majority of these trades I was all in, and all of this being able to be done from not watching the market hardly at all during the day. I was on Portugal. I was in Portugal last week, walking along the beach when GASL hit its target. I got a little notification on my phone. Bang! You've just banked $4,500 of profit from 10 minutes of work scanning for and programming the trade in, and then letting the power of patterns and probabilities to do its work and automating that set and forget strategy. I love it. Paid to vacay, as they say, or as we say at least. So GRFS, again, beautiful on the short side. GRFS is dropping away nicely. I would lower the stop signal to $20.53, seeing it's dropped down from $21.40 now. And FOXF, that one's still holding, but starting to turn a little bit, so I would lower the stop to $70.07. The only new setup that I would take a look at until we get a new open range, unless I see something very strong come up in my watch list. I've got about 15 stocks on my watch list that I'm watching closely. LJPC, possible little continuation pattern here. So if this one was to break 1153, I'd be looking at a target of 1267 and a second target of 1343. Third target, momentum. The stop loss I'd be considering is $10.43. So that's one to take a look at as well. So again, we will see you all in tonight's lesson of lesson 3. of the live lesson with the Smart Money Scanning course for those of you taking part in that. And again, reminder that we have our patterns and both our two other courses are coming up. The Patterns and Probabilities course will be launching in October, mid-October. And then we have our advanced trading course, which includes things like flag formations and the all-powerful fallen angel strategy coming up in after that, after the end of the patterns and probabilities course. So we do have some awesome offers we're putting together. So again, it's a first come, first serve scenario. Many of you we have maybe already reached out to. Again, if you are interested in the patterns and probabilities course or the fallen angels advanced trading course or both, do make sure you let us know, as we are releasing early bird registration already. And again, we'll talk a bit about that as well in the course tonight. So again, if you're interested in either one or both, it is limited to 25 seats, I believe. I'm not sure how many of those are already full, but it is limited to certain availability because it includes one-on-one mentoring. So reply to this email, let us know if you're interested, and we'll make sure we put you on the list. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Happy trading, and see you all soon.